Welcome. Wonderful to have all of you joining us this evening. What a special celebration. On behalf of the Board of Directors of the Gallery and all of the staff, I would like to welcome you to the opening reception for the exhibition in the spirit of Nahaha'it.
And our people are our youth and our elders and our community members and our ancestors and all of us who've lived on these great lands. And I think really this is what this is all about, is recognizing our culture and our people. So congratulations to our youth, all of our youth.
The story of how this exhibition came about began with a friendship between Roxanne Lindley and myself. Together, we decided to explore the theme of Nahaha'it, commonly known as Ogopogo. I think the wonderful thing about this exhibition is the fact that we have 6 Okanagan artists all working in different media. The diversity of the work is really quite extraordinary. I had a very special insight because I got to go to each artist's studio and see them working on their pieces from beginning to end.
Palch is the Okanagan name for the cattail. And I chose to use that because I had been working with it a lot over the last few years, and I studied it in every which way I could, and I learned to work with it in traditional format. And then I began to bring it into a contemporary form. And so when I had this opportunity to work with Nahaha'it, it took me back to a story that my mother told me about when she was young, and how they were called down to the lake at one time by a friend that had seen what looked like Nahaha'it laying on the beach. And he was devastated and full of fear. He didn't know what it was. And by the time everybody got down to the lake, on the other side of the lake from here was evidence of it being there. The sand was wet where it was lying, where it was otherwise dry, and it had crawled out onto the ice, and it was around Easter time. There's a bit of ice on the lake, so it crawled out onto the lake and found a hole and went in. So the sand also led out onto the ice as well. So because of that, it really inspired me to do something with that, because it is real. And my mother says after that, her people used to say, well, you know where it came in at, down there by those cattails, that's where it came in. And it just seemed to fall together that I should use these cattails, continue to use them and bring it out in this piece.
What I attempted, or what I'm trying to do with that piece in particular, is to draw the connection between the past and the present, and also the visualizing experience of the Okanagan people, tying it all in with our story of creation, our Chaptik, our Chip Chaptik, which sets out very specific guidelines on how we must live and govern ourselves between here, now, and the netherworld. With total respect to my ancestors who have left these pictographs behind, my pictographs shouldn't be considered as the spiritual context. What they are is an invitation for people to actually look and experience the First Nations cultural aspects. The elliptical figure with the 3 points on it, that is the vessel of life, containing the past, the present, and the future. It is guided by the past, invigorated by the present, and providing for the future. The round, people say it's a moon. I call it a moon, but that again is the everlasting cycle of life, the circle of life, and life, death, night, day. They're all one and the same. And of course, Nkaka'i, he is depicted on the bottom, and he is my rendition of what I've seen. And I guess, yes, to some point it was a visualizing experience, but by no means anything compared to the practices my ancestors would have endured to come up with such a piece.
The piece that I created was made out of garbage, and it was garbage that I collected from the lake, from the water. I collected it from the shore and stuff like that. And when I looked at this piece, or this exhibition originally, and when I thought about it before I started creating it, one of the things that I really wanted to put out there to the people, to all people, was the importance of our responsibility to the environment. So in creating that piece, it allowed me to create an awareness of how irresponsible we all are towards Mother Nature, especially towards the water. In creating the piece, what I did is I tried to incorporate lots of different parts of society, things that are beneficial, but things that are really damaging. In my piece, I had pieces of oil can, I had gas, I had things like fishing line, I had things like badminton nets, everything that we look at as convenience, things that we need, things that we use on a daily basis, but really to try and put out there in the message that all of these things that we have are really quite harmful if we don't be completely responsible for them. So with that piece, it allowed me to do that. It allowed me to think about the words of my father, of my people, of the importance of those spirits in the lake, the importance of honoring and respecting. And I believe that my piece showed that, because it showed how we're not honoring and how we're not respecting. And not just as Okanagans, I wanted my piece to be able to reach out to Native, to non-Native, to all of us, because we all use the water, we all drink the water, we all bathe in the water and stuff like that. So that's what I wanted to do, is put something out there that would tweak people, that would pinch people, that might annoy people, that might upset people. I know that when I was done creating it and I looked at it, I felt sadness. I felt that I hadn't been fulfilling my responsibility as a protector, as an environmentalist, but to have it and to look at it and to have it right in my face was a real reality check. When we were looking at this show, that of course came up, and I had to, as an Okanagan person, I had to look within myself. And for many years, the symbol, the picture, the thought, the concept of Nakaka'it has been trivialized. It's been used for marketing. It's been used to promote tourism in the city of Kelowna. And when we did this show and we sang and we drummed, our people put themselves out there. To me, the most important part of the show was reclaiming who we are. It was repatriation. It was us saying, this is Nakaka'it, this has been here for 10,000 years, plus this is a part of who we are today. This is us. And it was part of us saying, no, this is who we are, and we're going to own it, and we're proud to own it, and we will continue to own it. And it was teaching our people the importance of grasping those beautiful concepts of our culture.
Actually, back before I knew I was going to be, even knew that I could do animation or take a course on it, I was in my early 20s, and I started to visit my sister Linda, and she's a native artist, and I started sitting down with her and I started drawing again, which was what I used to do when I was a kid. I thought about it for a while, and I thought, what would that be like to create my art and then convert it into moving art and it's more like bringing it alive. And I thought, wow. So I went and tried, put my portfolio in, and I got picked. And you have to submit a full portfolio of artwork, otherwise they don't even let you in the course. You have to be a fairly good artist, otherwise you can't get in. And some of my art form back then was a lot of cartoon art, and it was quite, how would you say, adult form art. Funny. And that was what got them, actually, that let me in, because I wasn't afraid to do any type of art form. The Ogopogo itself, I wanted it to look spiritual, so I made the Ogopogo come out of the water and up into the sky, and it has an aura around it to give it that spiritual look, and it's flying up towards the sun. I guess I would call myself a new age native artist, where I'm using the new tools, the computer, my drawing, and the technology to create the art form that I'm doing right now. It's totally, some people would, I guess, see it as totally different than, how would you say it? They wouldn't call me a native artist once they saw it, but once they saw my work, they can see it.
As a First Nations Okanagan artist, of course being Okanagan means Ogopogo, Naha'i. He's blended right in there with everything in our culture. He is a spiritual guider that if anyone needed him could go to him and ask him questions, and he'd be there to help. And he's very wise to only show himself to people who do need his help and won't hurt him or will have great respect for him. So for me to have a piece representing Nakaka'it is wonderful, because people think he's just a tourist attraction thing, but not realizing he's been around for years on years, and he's there to help if anyone ever needs him. Beadwork I actually picked up really quite recently, maybe 2 years, maybe. I always found beadwork fascinating. My mom has beadwork pieces hanging in her house from my great-grandma and stuff, and just working with your hands. I've always loved working with my hands, but picking up that kind of craft, it's really almost meditation-like, to be just in a trance and beading away and letting your creativity flow through beads is quite wonderful. And once I picked it up, I just took to it. I only started a couple years ago, but my teacher, when I first picked up beading, was astonished by how I took to it like a duck to water when I first started beading, and increased very quickly from just doing earrings to necklaces, and then to peyote stitch, which is supposed to be a lot harder. Oh, I feel wonderful, especially seeing how I just started to have that much exposure right away just for something that I wanted to do. Not that I was trying to do it for somebody else, but showing that I had a piece of work that I had done that I had respect for and created, that somebody else felt the same way and wanted to see it.
As an Okanagan First Nations artist, I've drawn to gourds because they're used, universally all over the world, and they're important in trade, and they're a part of everybody's history historically, and I like that. They're inspirational to me. The gourds have an energy of their own, and I just add to that who I am and how I see the world. So it's a marriage of what the gourds bring and an expression also of who I am. Nahahik is something that when I was younger, I actually was afraid as a young girl of Ogopogo. And I remember swimming in the lake and going out, following my grandfather out, swimming in the moonlight, in the dark, and just this overwhelming sense of fear coming over me, wondering what was in the water in the dark, depths, and thinking of Ogopogo, and telling my grandfather, I'm scared, I want to go back, and having him swim back to me and saying, climb up on my back, granddaughter, I want to tell you a story. And I remember the moonlight shining on his silver gray hair and climbing up on his big strong back, and just feeling so safe as he went in to explain his story and thoughts of Ogopogo, and that Ogopogo is there, that's Ogopogo's home, and it's there for all of us, and we use it to sustain ourselves, to enjoy, for our survival. Well, this exhibition, as a group effort, it just felt so alive, so whole, and the expressions of the thoughts and feelings of all of the other artists individually and as a whole come together, and the strength, the spirit of the show was, it was amazing. I was honored to share in that.
This exhibition has been a spiritual journey for me as a curator. I am forever grateful to the Okanagan people, especially my adopted family and friends of the Westbank First Nation. Gayle Liman.
A really exciting part of this project is the artist bundle, which will create an educational legacy. The bundles will go out to all the schools in School District 23 so that teachers and students can use them in the classroom. They'll go out to the Okanagan Nation and to select galleries and museums across the country. I think this is a really wonderful opportunity for people to learn about Okanagan culture and a wonderful opportunity for the Okanagan people to share their wisdom, their knowledge, and their creativity.
The exhibition was an overwhelming success. It was all of what we dreamed about in enabling the gallery to bridge to the community the wonderful stories that Westbank First Nations have to offer. Choosing the Ogopogo as the theme was a very strong lead-in for the community. We all have stories, and I believe the exhibition was a way of reinforcing those stories, enabling many community members to come in and find their link with their stories to the stories that were in the exhibition.